I love movies with a double role, and I love these kind of reincarnation. He's supposed to be kind of a rowdy, and just even the way like he gets off a motorcycle just has swagger, like everything about him. And then I loved his grandma was on the side just cheering him on. Like, get all those bad guys. I love Chiranjeevi's dancing. And so there was a lot of it, so I was very happy. You've made me a big fan of Chiranjeevi. I have to tell you, Harsh, I have to thank you for that.
నమస్కారం పరదేశీ పెద్దమ్మ కథలకు స్వాగతం. ఈ వారం నేను మెల్నీ రివ్యూ చేస్తున్న సినిమా మెగాస్టార్ చిరంజీవి కెరీర్ లో సోషియో ఫ్యాంటసీ ఫిల్మ్ జానరా. అంటే అంతకుముందు సీనియర్ ఎన్టీఆర్ చేసిన ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ని, ఒక ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ని సరికొత్తగా చిరంజీవి ఓన్ స్టైల్లో ప్రజెంట్ చేసిన సినిమా యమ్ముడికి మొగుడు. 1988లో వచ్చింది ఈ సినిమా. ఈ సినిమాతో చిరంజీవి కూడా సోషియో ఫ్యాంటసీ చిత్రాల్లో తను ఎంత మంచిగా యాక్ట్ చేయగలడు, తన అభిమానులకి ఎంత మంచిగా కలిగించగలడు అనేది చూపించాడు. సో మెల్నీ కూడా నాతో పాటు యమ్ముడికి మొగుడు సినిమా చూసింది. తనకి ఎలా అనిపించింది, ఆమె రివ్యూ ఏంటి ఈ సినిమా మీద తెలుస్తున్నా. హాయ్ మెల్నీ.
Hi, good to see you, Harsha.
సో హౌ డు యూ లైక్ యమ్ముడికి మొగుడు?
I loved it. So I love movies with a double role, and I love these kind of reincarnation kind of plots. I mean, obviously it's a setup where you're able to have two heroines and really have the actor be able to stretch by doing two very different kind of roles. And we're not going to go into a full review, but I did just see Acharya, so I had Chiranjeevi on the mind when we were, that I was going to be seeing that. And so I suggested we see another classic Chiranjeevi film. And, I've become a fan of Chiranjeevi because we've been doing these films together.
Yeah.
And so I was really looking forward to seeing this just when I read about the concept of it, about a man who, dies by mistake and then bargains to have another life. And so I was marking, so the first character's named Kali, and oh my gosh, the swagger. He's supposed to be kind of a rowdy, and he just even the way like he gets off a motorcycle just has swagger, like everything about him. There's an epic fight scene in the first half hour or so where he demands that they tie his hands behind his back to make it harder for him to fight this whole group of guys. Epic. Absolutely epic. He's like, so you want to throw us out of our place? Okay, tie my hands behind my back and then I'll fight you. That was awesome. And then I loved his grandma was on the side just cheering him on. Like, get all those bad guys. So he dies about 38 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the, heavenly court, or, he's going to be judged. And he skips the line. He's like, I'm not waiting in this line. And then it's like he's complaining at a store. So like, he's complaining about, he figures out that there was a mistake, that he was taken too soon. And just the way that he bargains, and I love that whole scene. We were just discussing how many films have been a remake of this, and I have seen Yamadanga, which has a similar theme with NTR. Absolutely. And so I kind of, because I had seen that, I knew what was a little bit about what was going on. Famous, the guy playing the god Yama, Kaikala Satyanarayana, if I'm saying, sorry if I murdered that.
No,
but anyway, I looked up and I was like, oh, he looks so familiar, and we've seen him in several of the classic movies that you and I have discussed. Nartansala, like he's been in a lot, and he was in Vegeta with Chiranjeevi as well. So I just love he goes, I remember the Chitragupta, I think the guy who has the book, like that had made the mistake of when his lifespan was over. I just love how he goes up to him and he stabbing his fingers to him.
And I want to make a point, Mr. Allu Ramlinga is uncle for Chiranjeevi.
Oh, okay. But I just,
his own daughter is Chiranjeevi's wife. Allu Ramangaya's own daughter is Chiranjeevi's wife, Sureka.
So, and then there's a wonderful fantasy song sequence there where he is, they're like trying to distract him while they're trying to figure out, the gods are trying to figure out what to do. And so I was wondering if you could tell me, so the Ramba character is singing a very classical song, and then it's Naravara is and then it turns into a rock song, like, because Chiranjeevi is like, we're not doing that old song, and it's like the classic song seemed like we had heard it in one of the older movies that we had watched.
Even same plot of the song we can observe in Yamudanga too. Yangu same song, same plot. Started with a classical style of versions and converted into a modern pop song.
Right. And then he turns it into, I mean, there's so many songs in this movie. It's awesome. I loved all of them. I love Chiranjeevi's dancing. And so there was a lot of it. So I was very happy. But anyway, my absolute favorite song is when he gets different choices of which body that he would like to go into, of lookalikes. And he picks a very shy man named Balu, who is going to be murdered by his family for his wealth, because he's going to come into his inheritance when he turns 25. And we're introduced to Balu, and we get to see a song with and that one is my favorite song of the whole movie. Eka Bandaku, is my favorite song. So like a shy guy and a forward girl. I love that old trope. That is my favorite song of the whole movie. And anyway, so Balu is even beat by his uncle all the time. And like the first scene where we see that, I think it's his aunt. Like, just the women are just eating snacks while it's going on. It's like, the little details like that, just all the color and those scenes. Anyway, and so then we're, as an audience, we're waiting for when Kali inhabits this shy body of Balu, and he's going to give back to all of his relatives who have been so mean to him and wanted to murder him and everything. So but then the complication is he going to remember his past life, which he does when he sees a newspaper article. So I absolutely loved it. Chiranjeevi really got to show all different personalities. He got to get kind of the shy guy. He got to have the swagger of Kali. We get to see him fool all of his relatives and all the people who had, because he was murdered in his first life too. So we get to see him give back to all the people who had wronged him. And the two women in the film also were great. We get to have two heroines. They kind of solved it at the end, like, how is he going to but the god whispers something to him, and then both women are happy, but we're left as an audience saying, okay, how did you figure that out?
And I want to mention one thing. Radha and Vijayashanti, both ladies are lady superstar at 90s.
Yeah.
They are well known for their dialogue delivery. They are well known for their dancing moves, especially Radha.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they both get to have several song sequences with Chiranjeevi. That's the advantage of a film like this, of having the dual roles, is that he naturally has romances with two women. And so we get two great actresses opposite him. And then the final confrontation scene at the end, there's like, he fights on a moving bus. Shang-Chi is nothing but Chiranjeevi. I love all the little kids chipping in with the fight to the bad guys that are on the bus. Anyway, just a massive action sequence towards the end. So I just was delighted with this movie. It's really fun. It's from 1988. So yeah, some of the stuff, the fights look hokey compared to what we have now, but I just was along for the whole ride of it. I absolutely loved it.
I think this is the first time people discussing about movie collections. I think this is the first movie to collect 5 crore revenue. I think.
Yes. Yeah, it evidently was a huge hit at the time, and I can understand why. Personally, it's the kind of film that had so many great song sequences. I would also want to go back and see all of those songs on film, right? This is 1988. People couldn't just go to YouTube and rewatch all the movie songs like we can
So they're
now.
repeatedly going to the theater and watching and enjoying everything.
Right. I mean, because now you have, RRR comes out, and then like a week later you get the video songs come out and you can watch them at home. But that's not the way it was. So if you wanted to see those songs again, you had to go back to the theater and watch it again. So it's understandable how this became such a huge hit, because it's packed with songs, great songs. The music is by Raj Koti, and I loved all the music. Like I said, I mentioned my couple of favorites, but really, I mean, they were all great. I mean, it's 1988, some wild costumes. Radha had these like really slim skirts. I'm like, girl, how are you doing these dance moves in these tight skirts? But she made it work.
My personal favorite, they are both acting. Andam Hindolam, Adaram Tambulam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one. That was a great one towards the end.
They're dancing something like a break dance.
Right. I mean, there was the right. He does like some pop and lock kind of moves.
Yeah. Heavily inspired by MJ, I think. And he's the first hero to inspired by MJ and trying local movies. He's the first person, Chiranjeevi.
Absolutely. And you can tell that in his costuming as well, because this is not the first movie where I've seen Chiranjeevi do kind of a black and red leather kind of a jumpsuit, which obviously refers to Michael Jackson. So yeah, I mean, like Thriller era and all of that. So yeah, but it was so enjoyable. I just thought, you've made me a big fan of Chiranjeevi. I have to tell you, Harsh, I have to thank you for that.
Yeah.
So he was so great in this movie. Super fun, and I can understand why this plot has spurred so many remakes of this story, because it's such a fun story as well.
Yeah. I became a huge fan for Ram Charan too, for his last two movies. One is Rangasthalam and another one is Triple R.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I liked him in Magadira, but Rangasthalam was just a step beyond. He was so good in that.
And I think you remember Adi Pinisetty, who played brother of Chitti Babu in Rangasthalam, Ram Charan's brother Adi Pinisetty, and he's the son of Yamudiki Mogudu director RaviRaja Pinisetty.
Okay, yeah. So this is I mean, I haven't seen any other films by this director. I was looking up his filmography. This was my first one, and I thought, this was just a really fun movie. But he didn't write this particular film. Was written by Satyanand, and I don't think I've seen any of his other works.
Do you know who Satyanand
is? Really enjoyed. Yeah. You're laughing at me.
No. Satyanand and Satyamurthy, they both are famous writers for Chiranjeevi, especially. Satyamurthy is the father of Devisri Prasad, music director Devisri Prasad.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very close community.
everyone there belongs to a film industry. So that is the reason there are so many links for everyone.
Yeah. Tight-knit families as well. But anyway, this was a super fun film. I mean, obviously it's suitable for families. Yes, there's some violence, but it's not gory or blood kind of. It's just kind of fisticuffs kind of violence. And I would still I think it holds up, and I had a great time watching it.
Thank you so much, Melanie.
Thanks.
1988 లో అయినా కూడా, అంటే అప్పటికి ఇంకా ఇందాక మెల్నీ చెప్పినట్టు అది ఒక ప్రీ ఇంటర్నెట్ ఏజ్, అంటే అప్పటికి ఇంకా ఇంటర్నెట్ కూడా అందుబాటులో లేదు. అలాంటి టైంలో ఇలాంటి యూట్యూబ్ కానీ ఇలాంటివి ఏమీ లేకపోవడం వల్ల ఆ సాంగ్స్ ని చూడడానికి, ఎస్పెషల్లీ చిరంజీవి వేస్తున్నటువంటి డాన్స్ చూడడానికి, ఆ యాక్షన్ చూడడానికి రిపీటెడ్ గా ప్రజలు థియేటర్కి వెళ్ళేవాళ్ళు. అలా థియేటర్లకి ఎక్కువ రప్పించిన సినిమాలో యముడికి మొగుడు కూడా ఉంది. ఆ ఇయర్ హైయెస్ట్ గ్రాసర్ గా నిలవడమే కాదు, తమిళ్లో రీమేక్ అయింది, హిందీలో మళ్ళీ చిరంజీవి తీశారు చిరంజీవి పేరుతో. ఇలా ఒక రకంగా చెప్పాలంటే ఒక పాన్ ఇండియా లెవెల్లో ఒక హిట్ అయిన ఒక ఫార్ములా యముడికి మొగుడు సినిమా. ఇది ఈ వారం పరదేశి పెద్దమ్మ కథల్లో యముడికి మొగుడు గురించి రివ్యూ. మరో వారం మరో మంచి సినిమాతో మేము కోసం. అంటిల్ దెన్ బాయ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ మెల్నీ. బాయ్.